Hey everyone, my name is Gleaned I'm the president of the Pre-Law Society, and we're just going to go ahead and start off with a word of prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for all you do in our lives. Thank you for this opportunity that we have to come and talk about networking. Thank you for another semester that we get to serve you as well as progress academically, God. Please help us have grace tonight. Please help all the information to be profitable to us. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right, so I'm Lincoln Johnson. I'm the president of the Pre-Law Society. We have our vice president, Sammy, but she's not here. She just went to run an errand real quick. And then we also have McKenna Collins, who's our secretary for this year. She's right there. So the only announcement I have is we have an admissions group coming on the 30th from Faulkner's. It's another opportunity just to get to know the admissions process of law school and stuff like that. So that's a great opportunity. Right now we have Dr. Reese who's going to come up and give some.
Thank you, Lincoln. I am Dr. Reese, the sponsor of this program, but this is a student-led organization. And the idea for tonight's topic came right from our officers, and so I commend them for choosing a great topic. It's a timeless one, it's a universal one. So it's good to welcome several that are not necessarily pre-law majors, but who knows, law school may be in your future. I have one announcement to make, and that is on October 27th. Save the date. On October 27th, on Monday night, we're going to have the dean from Liberty School of Law here. Now, it's no small fish to get the dean to come, and that's pretty big. He's going to be sponsoring, along with some assistants, a law school admissions workshop / dinner. So it's a chance to get off campus, get a free dinner. We have a great restaurant that we eat at there. We do this every 2 years, so it's a biannual event, and you happen to be the lucky folks to have it come up this fall. So that's October 30, October 27 rather, in contrast to what Lincoln said. The next pre-law meeting is October 30, and there we have Faulkner coming in with their admissions dean, his first visit on campus, and I think he was going to be in the display room, but that room was already booked, so you've got to come out that night in order to hear him, but he's excited about being on campus for the first time. Dr. Bailey is his name. So we've got a great lineup, and then down into November, we have our legal connection, and we're bringing in a lobbyist from Washington, D.C. He's going to give you the ins and outs. I've known him for a number of years. In fact, he was one of my students. And he was telling me about how, Dr. White, he walks through these tunnels that connect the Capitol building to the different outbuildings, and he'll be walking with the senator. And the senator will turn to a 22-year-old aide and say, now, how am I supposed to vote on this bill? So we've got some young people that have a lot of influence in Washington. Come learn there, and that's going to be November 13th. So we have a busy run here. I'm really excited about the prospects, and any and all would be welcome to join us for any of those presentations. Lincoln, we'll turn it back over to you.
Alright, so tonight it's my pleasure to introduce our speaker, Dr. White. He's coming with a distinguished career in the corporate world. He brings over 32 years of experience in networking as well as personal development. Throughout his career, he's guided countless students as they discover their career paths, as well as secure their first opportunities and build the foundations for lasting success as well. He has a great passion in equipping students to leverage their skills as well as growing their networks. And it's really an honor for him to come and speak to us. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to Dr. White.
Ooh, networking. What is that? Your network is your net worth. Can you ever imagine something like that? How does that resonate? You feel that, guys? Think about that. Your net worth is your network is your net worth. Think about the value that you can bring to your family, to your company, is based on the network and the people you know. What we're going to talk about tonight is how I built a network and how I can tell you it will work the same for you as you're working it and developing it. I've continued to use these techniques as I have networked in the Pensacola business community throughout the summer and any of the other events when I'm trying to find speakers. So I'm Dr. White. After 32 years of building successful networks and doing other cool things, including closing millions of dollars of revenue for legal services settlement cases. My wife pretty redhead, woo! Pretty redhead back there. Then she and I packed up, got off the corporate treadmill and came here to Pensacola, and we've been here ever since. And we love it. I'll say we really do enjoy it. Factually, to be more specific, we love you guys. It really is a lot of fun working and getting to know you guys, each of the students. Many of you are my students here, or if I had a chance to work and get to know you on campus. Any of it's a good time. Okay, so my promise to you tonight. Give me 30 minutes, maybe a little less. Maybe a little less than 30 minutes. And I'll give you a system that you can successfully network for the next 30 years. That it will work. Will there be some tools? Will technology move in 30 years? Of course it will. But is it going to be, but is this still going to be a timeless thing of a handshake and a person's word, and building that rapport is still going to be important. But right now, tonight, many of cases you may have started networking, you're not really sure what it means. This I'm going to be focusing on really professional business networking and how to do it starting now. Now being junior, senior year, time to get a job, time to put in an application to law school, whatever. It's time to be intentional about what you're about. It's not, networking is not meeting as many people as you can, because honestly, there's a lot of people that you have no interest or need to meet because they're not a natural overlap in where your career and where your path is. So, if you know me, you know I love books. So I'm going to talk about books. We can't get around it. Here we go. But how about, come on, college students, you like cheap books? How about free books? Okay. The two books, LinkedIn Riches and The Ultimate LinkedIn Profile. Go to LinkedInRiches.com. You can download both of those for free. You can get them. If you send the email now, you'll have them in 5 to 10 minutes. How to Win Friends and Influence People. That book's almost, give or take, 100 years old, okay? So you should be able to find a used copy somewhere. But that book is powerful because it gives you a roadmap of how to build rapport and to really build an adult friendship. And it's where it's mutually beneficial for people, where they're encouraged and going something else. Let's talk about what networking isn't. It is not about how many business cards you can collect. It's not about using people for jobs or to get a win on deals. It is definitely not these fake conversations where you go, you have a conversation, let's get together, but you and the person both know you're never going to get together. And it's never going to. Only talking to the important people. I can't possibly talk to you, you're only an executive assistant. I love me some executive assistants. They run the office, man. That's where I could get some serious, I would lean into them, not lean away from them. Because they could give me valuable information like birthdays and gifts that the person that I'm trying to work with likes. But I didn't skip on them. If I found out their information, I'd send them something as well. You want to be able to know that you're doing it. And also, listen, life is a series of favors, giving and taking. But if you're only a person who's saying, hey, can you do something for me? And is always a constant ask, only reaching out when you need something, but when everything's fine, but when people reach out to you, all of a sudden you're not available, that's also not networking. It is a give and take, and you've got to get the right team and the right people. What is it? You're trying to build real, genuine friendships. It is a mutual favor exchange. The favor bank is alive and well, and it lives in all adult relationships. You think about them. Mrs. White and I joke about our favor bank. Most husbands and wives joke about that. Is this sort of like this is a little bit different than that. But what you are really trying to do is to build a rapport. You want to find somebody who can be that guy for you in that industry or that company, and you can go tell a story, be encouraging, and actually do make a difference. But what you're really trying to do is standing underneath. You want to have arrived, again, as many of the support systems that you can, people that make sense for in your field. Like, for example, when I was networking and I was doing claims administrative support, but not lawyers, but I needed lawyers, but I also needed banks. I also needed telephone support for some volume of calls. I needed temporary staffing because so those were the people I was out there looking, and of course accountants and then anybody in HR. But I was kind of indifferent, oddly enough, then to, like, for example, academia. I didn't do anything, didn't do works. It wasn't a target of mine for colleges. So now I show up here, and now 6 years I've been networking with schools. So that's been kind of interesting. It's a little different vibe. Okay, let's talk about the good news and the bad news about everything that is here. The bad news is 50% of the people feel like networking events are awkward. Now, I reject the idea that there are networking events and then like this. If you guys were professional networkers, this is a networking event. Why? Is there anybody here you don't know? Networking event. I had a rule that for myself, I would attend networking events two, three nights a week, and then during the day as well, but certainly at night we could convene. What would I do with those? Or I would make a determination. Like, for example, you could go online and find out how many people were there. I would go online and take a look, and if I recognized too many names, I just wouldn't go. Because I'm looking to meet new people, not try to go and see all the same folks I've already seen before. Have to be intentional about where you're going. Building good quality, honest network, it continues to be harder because there's these walls, business walls, emotional walls that get built trying to build relationships, and you're trying to be able to get there. The good news is, and this is a fact, 85% of all corporate jobs are filled by networking. That's crazy. The last 15%, the ones that show up on Indeed, right? Because those are the only jobs that show up on Indeed. They're list jobs, the bad ones. The ones that show up on Indeed are because they don't have a connection, or they're working in a job or a field that has high turnover. And so that's why you will see some of those jobs that will be there. 70% of senior management says networking is important for you to build your career. Not if you're in sales and marketing. Certainly if you're doing a lawyer, you need to always have that one person or multiple people that you can turn to for their expertise rather than your expertise. Because it's way better than to know somebody, for instance, for you lawyer guys, that is an antitrust expert. That's cool because you're a litigator and you do contract law. Well, now you've got an antitrust guy you can turn to. That makes a big difference. The good news here is that 80% of your peers don't really understand that networking is a good thing, and they're not here, so you win. But here's the problem. Just because you're here tonight doesn't mean you win. The question is, what are you going to do with the information that we go over tonight? And again, are you ready to actually take action and do something? Let's talk about where you can go networking. And then here it's just talking about just these choices here. As you can see, there's a lot of places to go. Like, for example, do you ever think about networking with your professor? Now, I can't tell you that every professor here is on LinkedIn. I know Dr. Reese is. But if it makes sense, connect with them. You can check for them on LinkedIn. If not, and it might be that that's just not their world. I'm actually at a tipping point. I'm 64, so right at that 64, people have already built networks and they didn't need it, but I was one of those geeks 25 years ago. That's how long I've been on LinkedIn. I started networking saying, hey, here's a way to do this better, faster, and I can keep up with people better. So I was willing to lean into LinkedIn just as a place to do it. Do you ever think about talking to students before and after class, trying to connect, and not just the people there in your collegiate or whatever? I make this statement every year in my classes, and I said, please, students, don't let me be the only person that knows everybody's name in the class. That's bad. You need talking to people, again, particularly like for me this semester teaching marketing classes, and we got in this senior and juniors and senior, well, there are people that you're going to see in the marketing world. You kind of want to know what they're going, know what they're doing. There's a lot of benefits to that, especially if they go into a different city, because that's even better. I used to get excited when people would leave jobs. because I still had the contacts at her old job, and I got the contact at the second job. Again, all of this is very positive. You don't even think about it, but do you know everybody? Like when you in chapel, do you know the people on either side? Do you know what their plans are, or what they're doing? Not more than just their name and whether they like burgers or chicken strips. I mean, come on, let's go a little deeper than that. But there's always places where you can talk. I'm going to share with some techniques about how you can ask some questions and make a difference with them. Once you get out of here and you start making a paycheck with a comma, woo-hoo, it's coming for you. It's coming. These are some places, Chamber of Commerce, people sleep on that. But that is a very good event. Let me go back to here. And I'll also say there are some specific networking groups that are, when I say professional networkers, yeah, I mean, as in these network groups, it's called BNI. It says everything you need to in its name. Business Networking International. They have locations in every large city in America and throughout Western Europe. So it does make a big difference. Those are some great events that you could be able to just get to. Let's talk about some other places that you can. Listen, LinkedIn, you're going to hear me talk about LinkedIn. This is what I want to do an advertisement and tell you, let me tell you why you don't want to be on LinkedIn. Particularly since we're talking to some people who are heading toward law school. Lawyers aren't heavy users of LinkedIn for their profile. Lawyers are outrageously heavy users of LinkedIn when they need to find a business expert. Why? Because lawyers aren't on there, but all the business experts are. Many, many lawyers found me on LinkedIn because I had positioned my profile to be a class action expert, and I had content out there showing that I was a class action expert. Dozens and dozens and dozens of videos that would show that, and that made a huge difference. Other places, you want to understand where things are for your industry, whether it would be industry or virtual. I'm not a big fan of virtual stuff. I'm trying. I'm going to just assign that to me being old. Because I remember life before COVID. I remember life before 9/11. But I will say I struggle trying to network in virtual networking events. Just like I struggled when I had to teach virtual classes. And so those are just some of the challenges that were just there. But any place that business knowledge is being discussed and we're talking about it, anytime on social media where you're looking for platforms to see where there's a give and take, if you will, anything else that's coming. But you say, oh man, I'm too young. I mean, I'm 22 years old. Why would I post on LinkedIn? I have no credibility to do it. Well, that's what you lean into. For example, every one of you folks that are considering law school, you absolutely should be doing something on LinkedIn. And you just, and your first line is, here I am, L1, first day. I'm going to post maybe a video on a Monday and maybe on a Friday. Here's what my week ahead looks like. Here's how my week turned out. And I will tell you that will be engaging content for people, and it will be there, and then you'll have people that actually follow your path through all 3 years. That could be pretty powerful. But you also be aware and thinking about, listen, by the time we left the Washington, D.C. area, we were living in Ashburn, my wife couldn't take me out anywhere. Where said anywhere you go with me is a 40-minute trip. Why? Because it's 10 minutes to get there, and then it's 30 minutes for me to talk to whoever it is I ran into. I can't make it through Ashburn for a whole day without running into somebody. But then again, remember, I was intentionally trying to build a profile, and I'm not just running over to talk to, not to disrespect my neighbor, but my neighbor was a Verizon engineer. We didn't have a lot of networking to do. So I'd say, hey, wait, but if there was a business person, and quite often it would be a business person and they want to come and ask me a question, you find ways and you do your networking, you do it pretty much, at least for me, it was never off. You never turn it off. Because you never know when you might be able to do somebody a favor. And so those are pretty powerful. There are different organizations, community events. I mean, I network in festivals. I have no shame. I was going to network everywhere I went. I mean, that's just the way that you would do it. But let's talk about this. Your secret weapon now, you can say, I'm a student. I know you may not think it, but people love helping students. I'm not gonna say everybody, all right? You're gonna be able to go out and find that jerk, and you're gonna say you're a student, and he's gonna say something really mean and hurt your feelings. Okay, not that one. But for the most part, people are gracious because they'll want to tell you some more stories about when they were students, or maybe something like that, or they'll share something. And if you're a student and you identify yourself, you're like, okay, well, I'm not trying, I'm looking for a job. I mean, I'm going to talk about that. It's going to come up. So they're not going to be angered by it. I will tell you about how you should do that. Networking to find a job, that's a different seminar. It's a different seminar, and I actually did it Saturday, but not here, for some folks looking for jobs. And so it's a whole different fit. But think about what you bring to the table. If you are, and I'll go here because I got some marketing people here. If you're talking to a marketing professional, you have a different look at marketing because you're 20-something rather than them. So you're not, I can tell you from their perspective, you're not as jaded as they are. So they're looking at things through from a new eye. And they're conversational. It's not a transaction. They're not expecting you give me something, I give you something there. It's just exploratory. We're just having a conversation to see what's going on. And you have a built-in way to start the conversation. If you both had the same major, if you went to the same school, hometown, teacher, any of those things are all going to be just low-hanging fruit for you to be able to just start the conversation and be able to do it. And like here, I would say networking on campus too. Think about it. Do you know, how well do you know everybody in your collegiate? Now, I'm not suggesting you should know every single one. I don't even know how many you have in there. But if you're a business student, you probably should know all the business people in your collegiate. And that's not to disrespect the music majors. God love them. I guess we got to have them. I don't know why, but it's not a reason to network with them. And it's not to throw shade on music, although I guess I just did. But they're going to enter into a world that isn't your world. And so, I mean, if you have there because they're your friend or something, but that's not going to be a normal place where you would be networking. And that's okay. But certainly anybody in the business world could be potential. And I will tell you too, guys, the finance majors, the accounting majors, those are good folks to get to know, even if you are a management or a marketing major. And it's just because they're building an expertise in something that you don't have. And so that's why it's really helpful to have someone that and this is the magic, know, like, and trust. Those are the people you want to hang out with. You got to know, like, and trust them. Now, when I ask you who do you know a lot of people. How many people do you know, like, and trust? For me, that list gets a lot shorter. And I would encourage you that list should be reasonably to modestly short. You don't want to just be, you can't trust everybody. You got to find the window of time and where you can do it. And be an encouragement. So you look at this like, man, how do I keep up with all these names, all this content, all this, everything? Well, I'll tell you here, my personal, I even imported it into Outlook to keep it simple. You can get a Salesforce, CRM, customer relationship management, CRM system. They'll give you one for free if you're a small enough company. You can just set one up for yourself now. I would tell you that joining LinkedIn, you can evaluate whether it makes sense for you to join on LinkedIn when you go out and take a look at the people that you would like to develop a conversation with and see if they're on LinkedIn. Medical doctors, not on LinkedIn. Lawyers, heavy users, weak profiles. So that's what I'm saying is that you got different industries, different groups hit it hard. You do see sales, marketing, social media. They are going to be on it actively and will be doing the most posting on it as well. How do you set up an account? Look, I just showed you the picture. By the way, I've made this PowerPoint deck. I know some of you are trying to take notes or whatever. Just ask the president of the club or Dr. Reese has got a set of these to you. If you find me, I'm on the 4th floor, 409, swing by, whatever, I'll send you a deck.
And we will post this video to our Instagram account for pre-law, so there's another way to get to it.
There we go, tremendous, thank you, sir, I appreciate that. So So we could go there. That free book, he has more than those 2 free books. It's got quite a bit of content. If you were ever curious about social media, not as a consumer, because all of you guys have doom scrolled plenty in your day. I'm not going to be judging. I have to. I'm going to join the club with you. I've done it. But what I would say is go check out this and the template. Who got headshots today? Who had good intentions but never made it? Okay, let me give you a clue. If you're a senior, if you were to be on LinkedIn, you do need to get a headshot. They are going to do it again next semester. And I'll also say, talk nice to, you got some photographers. It doesn't have to be a good headshot, a good professional headshot is anywhere from $1,500 to $5,000. If you have a whole team, it can go higher. So the shots that you're getting now are closer to the $150 category. I ain't throwing the shade. I don't even know who took the pictures. I'm just telling you, having done both, these are relatively low key. So if you missed it, you go out. For the most part, I stay away from ties on LinkedIn. I do personally, but that's a call that you can make. Turn your face to the sun, take the tie off after church. Get one of your friends to take a picture of your face where you don't have any shadows on it. That might be as good as it gets for you. Call it good. Here's my LinkedIn account. You can find me. You see how it's branded here. Here is the tagline. I'm going to talk a little bit more about the tagline and why it matters. But that's the account. If you would like to talk about it, I'd be happy to help you with that LinkedIn as well. Let me just go back here. If you want me to review it with you, anything that you want, the best way to do it, and my students, and they've heard this before, sorry guys. The way it works, you can find my email address, right? You can go find it. It's Jay White. I'm going to be the one that pops up. So you shoot it to me, and if you just tell me 3 times that you can meet, and then I'll reply, and we'll set something up, and we'll be able to talk. Okay? I do Saturdays if we have to. I've had some folks just because their calendar is just crazy. I can meet with them Saturday mornings as well. I know I need to network, but, okay, look, I don't know how. I need a template. Here's a template. That's what I would say, the student, and then pre-law version, that's how I would write it up. When you write it, the key here is to be specific and don't be lazy. If you've got somebody that you want to talk to, find their profile on LinkedIn and read about them. Go to AI. Tell them the person's name, their job, and what city they're in, and then ask what's on social media and let AI scroll and find it for you. Or you could do your own Google search. I ain't going to judge. You can do whatever you want. But I'm just telling you, know enough information. Don't know so much that you start out the conversation. So I'm really sorry to hear your dog died 2 weeks ago. Get a little personal. Back that down a little. But be aware of like the school he went to, what all school they may have gone to. If you can find out things that he may be interested in, whether it's golf or something, whatever. You're trying to get some information, but you don't want to go over the top stalking. Okay, so now you're going to do it. What do we got to do? These are the things that are coming up for us now. The 2 Nemo books, we talked about the headshot. When you get to your summary, the tagline is a 1.5 lines just below your picture. And you need to tell a story. Nemo gives you a good example of what to do, but it's got to be a benefit. I can't tell you how many times I have barfed in my mind. When a student comes in and we pull up the profile, and you know what it says, a student at PCC. And I go, oh, so the most important thing I need to know about you is that you're a student at PCC. Your major, your passions, your love, your dreams, hopes, whatever, we don't need any of that. I'm a student at PCC, and that covers it all. Obviously it doesn't. But you got to get rid of that because that's information that the people that are viewing it don't know or care. They want to know about you not about you as a student. They're going after something entirely different, and you have to provide it with them. Connection strategy, you should be connecting to your classmates, to your professors, anybody else that is there. When you do a class, when you do it, always, 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 always personalize it. Now, am I going to be unreasonable and decline to connect with you because you didn't personalize it? No, I'm not going to do that. I wouldn't do that, because particularly if I could look at it and recognize a face, or I can see that you're a PCC student, I'm going to connect even if you did it sloppy. But there's a lot of people that are only going to do it if you send a personal note. And the reason they do that is because bots send out invitations without personalized. And they send out tens of thousands of them. And the people who don't realize it don't, like for me, I won't connect to anybody that doesn't have a picture. Now, if it's a PCC student, I connect no matter what. But I get blasts on LinkedIn from a lot of people, usually in countries that are just barely not third world, trying to get connected. And what they want, they don't want me. They want access to my profile, because my profile's got 5,000 contacts. And they can blast those out and contact. They're going to try to sell to. So you got to watch that. Always stay away from it. Have you connected to any alumni? Have you found some alumni that are in your field? Think about that. You should, because that's the easiest one. Can't think of any? That's Dr. Reese. I mean, I'm kind of intrigued about the lobbyist. He's got a contact with the lobbyist. That's kind of cool. I might want to come to that event too, sir. That looks fun. But again, he's got that contact. You want to be able to use that to be able to lean into it as well. You can join industry groups. We talked about B&I as one of the options, but there's also some other ones that really do help and make a difference. Now here's one. Post weekly on LinkedIn. I posted on LinkedIn for years under the Wellness Minute. Before that, I was the Litigation Minute. There's nothing magical about it other than when I was doing it, I wanted to brand it so everybody would know how long it would be. I was very intentional to never go over a minute. But when you do that, what that does is that builds your profile so that people know who you are and see you. And it makes a big difference. And here's another template. No AI didn't write it. I wrote it all by myself. I'm a big kid. So that's how I would say put that in. So now the question is, okay, I've now met somebody at this networking event. I now want to connect. How much time have I got? 24 to 48 hours, maximum 48. If you go past day one, shame on you. That would be that's my take. Only 2% of the people follow up this fast. Now this is just sending a message with a personalized link to LinkedIn to go, enjoy meeting you at the event, and then here. So that's what we're trying to get done. How do you follow up? Remind them. Be helpful to the people. Listen, I can tell you, I get a lot of messages even now. When they give me a reminder, they go, hey, remember we met at, remember I'm attending 3 networking events a week, every week, 52 weeks a year. There's a lot going on in my brain. If you can tell me, hey, we met at some place, that reduces the stack. I don't have to think about it as much. So you can see how the benefit that is that we're just getting started. Tell them you're just looking to keep the conversation moving. And then here you would suggest, generally here, now, we're not talking coffee dates. I don't want to have that conversation. But what I will say here is that we're trying to get coffee. The reason I say that is avoid lunch or dinner. Because for the most part, I think you would agree anytime that you're out, it's busy out there. So you don't necessarily, the time of being able to go have a lunch for an hour and a half or go out for a dinner, those are reserved for special times, special friends. Folks that you've made a big, that's not the place. This is a 20-minute conversation. And I will tell you, and I say it, the fortune is in the follow-up. This is where everybody stops. Because networking is fun until you get here. Now it becomes drudgery, painful, hard work. So now that you got the one-on-one scheduled and you sent the message and they say yes, that they've agreed, and you've done your research, go here, as we talked about, go find some research on them, gather what you can, and then your meeting's going to last about 20 minutes. That's about what it should take. 20 to 30, and what you're talking about is where you're asking them questions, but you're asking them, you're not just grilling them or turning it into a lawyer at a trial. You're really trying to ask open-ended questions like these. Just, again, gentle, painless questions until you get to the last one. Practice this in the mirror. I'm telling you, this is magic. I have used some version of this question for more than 20 years. It works. And what I would say is, listen, thank you so much. I appreciate all your time today. This has been incredible. You've really got me more excited about working in this industry than ever before. I'd like to learn a little bit more. Are there a couple of friends in the industry that you think I should talk to? And then the person's going to go, oh man, I know so many people. That's true. So I'll say, you know what? Let me ask you a question. If you're putting together a foursome for golf this Saturday, who are the other three people? Those are his three best friends. There you go. And you go, wow, thank you so much. Would it be okay if I contacted them? He says yes. Listen, if he says yes 3 times, Caleb, you might say yes 3 times. You might say 4 times, right? Keep going for the yeses, keep them going, right? Then after he says yes, you can contact him, then ask the money question. Is it okay if I use your name? Now I've warmed up those 3 people to talk to this person that I'm talking to now. Is that some secret hack, blah, blah, blah? No. That's just called being a professional networker. That's one of the steps that you should be able to do and be effective with it. Now, what could you possibly offer up as a student? You're like, come on, man. What do I know? Why is he going to want to listen? I will tell you. Fresh perspective on anything. And then I will tell you, have you figured this out yet? Particularly for, hopefully you've done some intern jobs or whatever. Everybody over 40 assumes you're an expert in social media. Don't they? Every single one of them. It's hilarious. I know how much you know on social media. I teach the class. You are fantastic consumers. Need some work on the other stuff. And by the way, it's a perfectly acceptable. We can help you take the social media class. We got you. But we can do it. Now, again, thinking about where else you can get contacts. You have contacts between students and other professors. You have a chance where you can go tell people, share something. At the event, any of the event plannings that are going on, that's absolutely a good choice and something that would be reasonable. Even when you're going through recruiting, the job fairs, any of that other stuff, also a great spot to be able to just, again, take a look to see what is going on. Everybody assumes that all 20-year-olds have phenomenal IT skills. And probably do compared to mom and dad. They could be asking you questions on that just for something about a piece of software that you've discovered yourself. You don't always know. There's always something different. Gen Z, and you all are one, is you're the next coming up. You're the ones that are going to be spending all the money in the next 20 years. Advertisers are fascinated with you, and they desperately want to know what you're going to do. But you are so reticent to actually tip your hand. You're tough. In fact, it's mostly because you've been bombarded with advertisements so much since you were 1 day old that your ability to ignore is strong. And that's the way it's supposed to. So that's what's happening. So you're ignoring any of the advertisers until they're covering something that you want. So that's what we're talking about. It makes a big difference. Now here's a step. Here, think about this. These are all people that you need. I'm not going to suggest that you got to go find a person for all of these. But the first 3, could you have some overlap? But as you're going through building your career, these are some folks that you're looking for, that you should be looking for. And here, are the people that you don't want to hang out with. And don't wait to network. Don't wait. Please don't wait. You've got to keep going. And do it consistently and do it with a lot of enthusiasm, and you'll be able to get there. Now, when I'm talking about essential tools that you need, always keep learning. Always keep learning. And what I would want to caution, and what I want to wind up with, and I want to stop with this and take questions now. Remember how I told you there was 3 books you needed to have and everything else? Okay, I couldn't resist. I got one more book. All right? Don't hate me for it. But right here, your EQ will be more important to your career than your IQ. Because people got plenty of smarts, but do they play well with others? That's what EQ is, emotional intelligence. The person who came up with the idea, Daniel Goleman, you can go to LinkedIn Learning, which you get free as a student. Type in his name, and you can get a 1-hour LinkedIn Learning where he lectures on this book. Very cool. Very cool. So, and here, and this is what I want to leave with, and then we'll open up for questions. When you are looking for a job, and I'm switching from networking to a job, here's what's important to understand. When people are listening to you, they are indifferent to what your academic is. Lots of people already have that. What they care about is, as they interview you, in their mind, they're looking at you and going, would he be a good fit for our team? Would he or she play nice with others? Pretty much like kindergarten, only for money. I'm done, guys. What kind of questions have we got? We only got about 10 minutes for questions. Who's got fun, easy questions? CJ?
So you've built a huge network, and you made it a point that real networking is relationship building over a long period of time. For you, is there like a system you've just like subconsciously built in how you keep up with all those people? Because if you're building it over a long amount of time, do you like systematically reach out? Is it like, how do you keep track of all that?
I gotta be honest, I take sides. Because I got 5,000 contacts there, and some of my contacts aren't even on LinkedIn, so I got other problems there. ABC, everybody can do that? A's the best, B's the next, C's the next. And so I have that, because I have contacts that I want to do, because it's only got 24 hours a day, what are you going to do? But the magic, CJ, and why I keep poking at you to post some more stuff on LinkedIn, is when you blast out your contact, by definition, it goes out to every single one of your contacts. Then when you tag them, and if you'll notice when I do, if you see the quote that I put in each day, and I quote, well, Mrs. White always gets the first one, but then I start listening to the other folks. And they get a message directly so that she gets a personalized message that says, Jim just mentioned you on LinkedIn. And there's about 6 or 8 of them. The people that you want to reach out to, you tag them. And it'll, CJ reached out, tagged you on LinkedIn. I'm like, thanks, CJ, thank you, man, I appreciate you. And that's one way to get it.
Cool.
Anybody else have a question?
My name is Gail Griffin. I'm a freshman. I just got here. What advice would you have for a bright-eyed, bushy-tailed young man?
I think I had one of the quotes up there. The best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago. And the second best time is today. Today is your first day of networking. Get it done. I would say first thing you have to do, decide how you want to do it. The first thing I would say is, are you a business major?
No.
Well, then, why are we talking? No, that's not true. but no, what I mean here is that it might be that LinkedIn isn't for you because of what your major is, but I can guarantee you, you need to reach out to people that are already out. Ask maybe your professors or whatever, where do the people who have this knowledge, there's got to be a place where they hang out. Whereas increasingly, there's got to be a place on social media. I mean, there's got to be, because it's just the way the world is. So that would be my vote. What is your major? Everybody else is wondering too.
Political science.
Oh, there you go. So you can go a lot of different ways. Are you going to law school, maybe? You thinking? Yeah. Hey, there you go. Look, I would say probably my top 10, 15 friends. In D.C., they were all lawyers. So lawyers are not bad people. I like them, that's okay. All right, anything else, sir?
Dr. White, if I could just share a testimonial. My oldest son graduated history here, PCC, went to law school, and then hung out his own shingle about 8 years ago. And it was his PCC connections that really got him started with his social media, which is a big expenditure for him each month. But there's someone he could know, trust, and there you go. So it's a great concept to make those connections now. You may not use those for 12, 15 years. But when you do, you've got a system in
Right,
place.
if you keep working them, like you see how blasting out on LinkedIn, you touch somebody, even, like I can't call all 5,000 people, I mean, there's just no way. But you just touch them and let them know that you're thinking of them. Quick little emails, like LinkedIn, I spend maybe a half hour a day on LinkedIn. But like, I spent probably an hour and a half when I was in the business world, and that was because I was looking at everybody else. The key stuff you can get is you can get anniversaries and birthdays. And you can, if it's important enough, well, you can reach out and send them a message. Then you can personalize the message. You get the idea of A, B, and C now, CJ. And then the third one, they might get a gift. But I've been made aware of it. So that's there.
Do you know how you can use networking to get into high law school?
Get into what law school?
High up law school?
Well, first thing is you need to find, you got to find your advocate in that law school. That's the first thing you got to find. And the way you find that is, well, first you got to go find out where are the people that went to that. Like, for example, and let's pick a law school of Syracuse. I have no idea why, but let's pick that. And just take a look. Who can you find that went to law school at Syracuse? And can you use LinkedIn? Sure, but you also have the ABA. And the ABA's record is open, so you can find it a lot of different ways. But start there, but it's just going to be elbow grease and go find somebody and try to build that rapport and that friendship with them. A phenomenal application and no friend is far less likely to work than an average application and you got a friend on the inside. And that's true everywhere. When I was in sales, probably 95% of the sales, I already knew whether I was going to win because I knew whether I had a guy inside or not. That's just the way the world works. It's about people taking care of people. And it's not like illegal or immoral or fattening, all right? It's not like I'm offering anybody money to get it. It's just like, again, I had the reputation, know, like, and trust. If you ask Jim to take care of this job, his team will crush it because they crushed the last 3. That's the transaction that you're looking for. More questions? We're getting close to being finished up. Any more? There's 4 slides left. I'm not going to say, if you guys are hardcore and you want to know, there's the last 4 slides that I put the pause on because of time. And it is the first 90 days of LinkedIn. What you need to do for the first 90 days of LinkedIn, given that today is day 1 for many of you, except all my marketing students. Thank you for coming. So that's what I would say. Then that would be my pitch to you to ask for the PowerPoint deck, is that you'll be able to get those and run it. My goal overall was to give you a little bit of information, but my number 1 most important goal was to finish up early. So I'm nailing that now as long as Dr. Reese, our fearless president, Lincoln, doesn't screw it up, man. Any other questions? Are you going to tap out? I am available. If you have questions, even if you see me on campus, ask me. I'll be happy to help you guys. I'm cheering for you. Nobody wants you to succeed more than me and Mrs. White. I mean that sincerely. We're just cheering for you. Are we all good?
All good, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. White, for speaking. In the back, we have buttons, like Pre-Law Society buttons. If you want to attach it to your backpack or something, you can take those. They're free on the way out. And I don't think we have any other announcements. Okay, we're good. Thank you, everyone, for coming, and have a good night.